So class of 2025 achieved the highest graduation rate in state history. That's in Oregon.
Whoa.
Right? Hitting 83%. So that's...
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You guys and all of those students.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
Our district's four-year cohort completer rate rose to 82.9%. So that's right there at the state level and higher than last year, which was 78.8. So
yeah, by 4%. That's awesome. Hello, welcome to the CCCNews podcast. I'm Robin. I'm here with North Wasco School District's dream team, Dr. Carolyn Bernal, Dr. Allie, Ivey, and Stephanie Bowen. Welcome to the podcast.
thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's really great to have you.
I appreciate the dream team.
Yeah.
That's a great start.
It's great.
That is a great start.
You guys give me some bits of numbers, and this is so exciting. I'm really excited you're here. This is great. Well, it's kind of a good time in the year. Summer terms just started, right? Or the third trimester.
Spring term.
Spring
Yep.
term, thank you.
Trimester 3.
Trimester number 3 has just started, which is the one with the most outside sports, my favourite. You know, it's the ones with some music and some performances going on, which is always really exciting.
The one that always flies by.
flies by real fast.
We call it sprint to the finish because it just literally flies by and the schools are just full of so many activities.
It's just,
Things happening.
Yeah, it's completely impossible to keep up if you don't either have a child in the school or you're in the school yourself. It's just, from someone on the outside, it's like, wow, that's a lot.
Well, and you mentioned sports, and spring sports this year, we have 2 new sports. Not sure if you knew that, but we have boys volleyball and girls flag football.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, they're really
Super
cool.
exciting.
And boys volleyball actually has a game tonight.
They do.
I believe it's their first game.
Great. And here in the Dalles?
I think
So?
I'd have to check.
That's exciting. Go
We'll first game tonight.
Go check the listing, guys. I'm sure it's on one of the pages somewhere. The Riverhawks have a website with some.
Yeah, so the Riverhawks, they actually have their own athletics page too. So you can go there and follow all along all the updates. They're pretty good about saying when the games are and what scores are and all the fun.
That's great. That's great. So I wanted to talk about you guys doing really well on a whole bunch of different things. My dog's just brought himself in, but that's okay.
Joining the dream team.
So you guys are just doing really well on a whole bunch of metrics, and so I wanted to kind of give us a chance to kind of talk about them and you to explain them because we're not educators, so you'll have to explain them to us. There's just a whole bunch of stuff. A whole bunch of students look like they're doing really, really, really well, and so I just thought it would be good for us to talk about those kids, and how amazing they're doing.
Sure. Well, maybe we'll start by saying, there's 5 measures that school districts are measured by. They used to call them LPGTs, which is longitudinal performance growth targets. Now they're just PGTs, performance growth targets under the new Accountability Act. And so there's 5 measures: 3rd grade reading, 9th grade on track, 4-year graduation rates, 5-year completion rates, and then regular attender data. So those are the 5 measures we're currently being measured upon. With the new Accountability Act coming out, they're adding 3 additional measures that school districts will be measured. They're adding 8th grade math, K2 regular attender data, which is interesting, and I'm not sure how that's going to be different from the regular attender measure, but there's going to be a specific focus on K2 because looking at K2 attendance across Oregon, that's an area where across Oregon they're seeing just attendance rates are really low.
Okay.
And it's actually the place where we need kids to be coming because that's their emergent years of learning how to read.
Yeah, foundations, right?
Yeah, all the foundational skills.
Yeah.
So, and then the 8th measure will be a local measure, and there's 5 different ones that school districts will get to choose one. So
cool.
We're not sure which one we're choosing yet, but TBD.
Cool.
TBD.
All right. Sweet.
So, but let's start with graduation rates. So, class of 2025 achieved the highest graduation rate in state history. That's in Oregon.
Whoa.
Right? Hitting 83%. So, that's...
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You guys and all of those students.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
Our district's 4-year cohort completer rate rose to 82.9%. So that's right there at the state level and higher than last year, which was 78.8. So
by 4%. That's awesome.
And the cool thing about that for us is we actually, as part of our PGTs, our growth targets, we had actually set the target of getting to 80% by the year 27-28. So we're like already bypassing that by several years.
Oh, great.
So that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And those targets that we set are actually all going to get reset. Under the Accountability Act, they're going to have school districts actually reset all of their measures. So that work is still yet to be done. We just received information from the Oregon Department of Education, like, hey, start getting ready. You're going to be setting new targets. And we're just waiting to get more information about how that process is going to roll out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. The state has a knack of kind of putting something out and then figuring it out as the feedback comes in, which is good and bad. Obviously creates some uncertainty, but maybe the result has more stakeholders in the process.
Yeah, and I think when we think about our students and our community, it's really important that our community actually understands the makeup of our student population, because we actually serve a very diverse student population. We serve about 2,840 kids. About 45% are Hispanic Latino.
Okay.
46% are white. And then 9% are what we categorize as other. But that could be Pacific Islander, Samoan, Native American, Asian, African American.
Cool.
We've got the gamut.
Yeah.
Right? So we have a really diverse population.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. And then 27% of our students are what we consider ever English learners, meaning they were classified as an English language learner at some point during their K-12 journey with us. We have 12 languages spoken in our district.
Wow.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
16% of our kids receive special education services, and 49% of our students experience poverty, which compared to the state level is 33%. So we're well above the state level of students experiencing poverty.
Yeah. Poverty is a real barrier to learning and turning up with enough resources to really get the most out of school, right?
Yeah. So, and I think it's just important that people understand that that's the demographics we serve, and those, that adds to the complexities of how we tailor our services to our kids, right?
Yeah.
Because our goal is to ensure that we're meeting every kid where they're at and providing them the resources and things necessary to help them be successful.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's such a diverse group, that's I mean, diversity brings so much to the people within the experience in diversity, because there's so much we have to learn from one another.
Absolutely.
Constantly, and so what a blessing. That's awesome.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So graduation rate's doing amazing, and then there's a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'm noticing 5-year completion rates and all these other there's a whole bunch of other cool metrics, even at the middle school, right? And I heard from the last work session too. There's so you guys have is it iReady?
iReady,
Right.
So when I went to school, right? Just comparison, you do half a term's worth of work, and then you have a test, and then you do another half a term's worth of work, and the teacher kind of knows where you're at, but doesn't have a real gauge of where you're at until they do the test, right? And as a dyslexic student, I didn't test well ever, right? Just the way it was, which is fine. But sounds like iReady's trackers students totally differently.
Yeah, I can talk to that. So with the Accountability Act that Dr. Bernal mentioned, all of our districts in the state are required to administer interim assessments. And so those interim assessments have to be administered 3 times per year. And we were really lucky because we actually were already doing that prior to this act being put forth through the legislature. So iReady is the interim assessment that we're using. And so all of our students K through 8 are taking this iReady assessment in both math and language arts. And so what that does for us is that helps our teachers to see beginning of the year, mid-year, and end of year scores. And then it really breaks it down for them to determine what are the specific skills within math. For example, is it numeracy? Is it computational awareness, whatever those kind of skills are, and same with language arts. And so our teachers really are able to differentiate instruction based on the student needs. And we're really excited we're going to share tonight, but we have iReady scores for all of our students, like a growth measure from fall to winter. And every single subgroup at every single school grew in both math and language arts.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're really excited.
Yes. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think when we talk about growth and achievement, many people, when they think about school, like they just think about the state test, which is that once a year state test given in reading, math, science. And I think people often think that that's the measurement of success for school districts, right? Well, yes, it's one measurement, but the really in-depth interim assessment data that we're looking at, that's where the real growth is, right? Like we're seeing kids making 2 and 3 years of growth in a year.
Wow, that's cool.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And maybe when they take the state test, they're still not proficient, but they've made 3 years of growth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and catching up is
incredible.
such a hard thing to do, right? In all contexts of life,
It is.
especially in education.
And especially when we get to like middle school students, right, who they might not have had those foundational skills. And so the fact that we're seeing such growth in middle school is just incredible. And it really shows like the work that teachers are doing to be able to support their students. And it's just nice to be able to see that because I think, as like I spent most of my career as a teacher, and even though we know that assessments don't measure the whole student, it's still hard to see assessment scores not growing when you know that students are working really hard.
Yeah.
And so this is just a great measure for our teachers to really be able to just celebrate all the work that they're doing in their classrooms and all the work that students are doing.
That's awesome. And then having a bit more information about exactly where to help students and how, I think, is also the key piece, right?
Absolutely.
Because it's all foundational learning. It's all building on each other. So if you miss a foundation, you just kind of can't continue to build on it, right? And so having those little interventions are really helpful.
Yeah, and now we're actually able to have the data to be able to determine what intervention students need.
Yeah.
And so that's something we're really focused on this year, and then we'll go even deeper next year, is figuring out how we're using data to provide students interventions or enrichment so they can really get those skills to be successful.
Yeah, that's so cool. Cool. All right. Amazing. What else are we looking at here? What else is worth celebrating?
Well, we have a lot of really cool things going on. So one of the other programs that we have in our district is our dual language immersion over at Chenoweth. And even though it's housed over at Chenoweth, it is actually a district program now, which means any incoming kinder can opt into that program.
Oh, cool.
And we have seen such success in that we actually opened a second kindergarten classroom over at Chenoweth to be able to grow that program. Awesome. And I believe it's now up to 5th grade. So we've been able to add a year each year, and we've grown that program. So it's now K through 5, and we hope to continue expanding on that. But yeah, we've seen incredible growth and success over there, and it is a really cool program.
And we are planning the expansion, so we will be adding 6th grade next year.
Nice.
It'll be housed at Chenoweth. Okay. So our intention is to grow the DLI program as a K-8 program at Chenoweth Elementary School.
Okay, cool.
So we are working on those plans. And if people don't know about dual immersion and what the really goals and are of that program, there's 3 pillars of DLI: bilingualism and biliteracy, high academic achievement, and cross-cultural competence. So the goal of that program is that by the time they finish in a dual immersion program, they have achieved all those 3 pillars and are proficient in all 3.
That's so cool. Yeah.
And it is unique in the perspective that students are taught in both languages, but it's also different ratios throughout the year. So they start heavier speaking Spanish. I believe it's 70%.
80. I think 80-20 or 70-30.
And then each year they kind of break it down, so then it becomes like half and half in each language.
Yeah, the data really shows that bilingualism helps in so many other areas of life and understanding, and the cross-culturalism is something that we sorely need, to bridge the gaps in our cultures, right? Bridge the gaps in our communities.
Absolutely.
Not just language is great, but culturalism is as we learn that as kids, right?
Yep.
You know, and so it's important to immerse yourself in your home culture, even if you're in a different culture. You know, obviously I've got a British accent, so you know it's important, right?
Oh,
Like,
100%. My daughter went through a dual immersion program, and she's fluent English, Spanish. And when she graduated from college, she got this job in a doctor's office, and the fact that she was able to communicate with so many of the patients who were Spanish speaking was an incredible asset for her. And now she's on her third language. She's living in Thailand, learning Thai.
That's so cool. Yeah.
The whole cultural learning about different cultures through that program, and then appreciation of language is so important, and especially in today's world, it's very much needed.
Yeah, so cool. And the way that they like kind of move it up to 50-50, right? You know, it's really, really cool as well.
And it's incredible to see the work of the DLA classrooms. We have teachers, I mean, all of our teachers are working so hard, but to be able to teach in both languages, I mean, it's an extra challenge.
Yeah.
And a lot of our DLI teachers have been doing project-based learning. And so I was able to see some work that they've been doing with like using CAD to be able to work on their computer skills, be able to build different projects. And they've been doing a lot of museums where they're able to speak in both Spanish and English and have families come in. And so really just working on like receptive language and expressive language in both Spanish and English. It's just incredible to see. And even when you see like, you know, your kinders and your first graders, just their ability to express themselves and talk about their learning in both languages is, I don't know, it just fills your heart. It's just so incredible.
Yeah, it's cool. You see it at the board meeting every month. There's always like
absolutely.
a kid doing in Spanish. And it's like, oh, our kids are so cool.
That's part of the board meetings, right? I love it.
Like, and I'm like,
Best
wow,
part.
that's awesome. Yeah.
And
That's
just
so
the
funny.
pride, I think, is just so cool. Like when you go into the DLA classrooms, the pride that students have when they're able to speak in both English and Spanish.
And the sense of community as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So speaking of building bridges and kind of alternate pathways, we also have our Innovations Academy, which, I mean, it's been around for several years now, but some people still don't know that it exists.
Tell us about it. What's
Yeah,
the
so
innovation?
Innovations is, it's actually housed over at the Wetumpka campus, and it is our alternative school. But I kind of want to break the stigma on what alternative sounds like, because historically that's been kind of like almost like a bad word. But really, it's just finding an alternative success route for those students who may not want to go to the Dallas High School.
Okay.
So when we started, I believe it was 2021, 2022.
Innovations opened 22, 23, like
22, yeah.
midway through. We were, so when I came in, we still had the Riverbend Charter School, which was housed up at the college. And then that charter school folded. But we still knew we had kids that were needing something different. And so I brought in someone to help us with creating Innovations Academy. And then we decided to house it at Wetumpka. And from there, it's grown.
I mean, grown
Substantially.
We started
exponentially.
We started with about 30 kids.
Okay.
And now we have over 100 in person and over 215 online
Oh,
students.
wow.
And online is K-12.
Okay.
And the in-person is just high school 9-12.
Okay. Cool.
And then also under the Innovations Academy umbrella is Norcor.
Yep.
And we are, if people don't know, we're the educational provider for juvenile detention students who come in through the juvenile department at Norcor. And so we are the educational component out there. And we have 2 classroom teachers out there and an aide. And Norcor is doing some amazing work out there with those kids. And from prior to Innovations Academy being created, I believe the district had only ever graduated 1 student out of Norcor.
Oh, wow.
And since Innovations Academy has started, we've now graduated 6.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And
It's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I've attended a couple of those graduations, and man, those kids and those families are just so proud.
Yeah.
And to hear the kids talk about like life after their release and what that's going to look like for them, and they have goals and they have dreams and they want to go to college or they want to go, learn a trade. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole kind of the point. If you kind of, if you cause some harm and you need to, do the justice thing to do that, then you should be able to learn from that and then turn your life around, right?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a life sentence.
Yeah.
And
Innovations Academy really is about providing that alternative pathway for kids where the comprehensive high school isn't for them. And we know that comprehensive high schools aren't for all kids.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just not a good match or it's not what works for them. And I think about like, man, if we didn't have innovations, like that's a lot of kids
Yes.
we would lose, which would be a significant hit to the district.
Yeah.
And also, it's just the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And we've seen huge success over there as far as graduation, too. So just last year alone, we had a 20% increase in our 5-year completion. So students who get their high school degree within 5 years, and 12% increase on the on-time graduation rates.
That's cool. Yeah.
It's really making a difference for those more vulnerable students.
Yeah. And to have the online option, too, is super vital for some kids.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. We have a lot of students who might be medically fragile or they have a lot of outside activities that don't allow them to come to school. And so getting that alternative option through the virtual program is amazing. And the team over there, it's a small team of teachers at IVA that are just doing incredible work with students.
They are.
And really there's a platform that they're using online, but they're really doing a lot of just one-on-one instruction and building relationships with students to really make sure that they have what they need. And the 4-year graduation and 5-year completion rates just really show you the work that they're doing.
That's cool.
Oftentimes when you have students in alternative settings, we talked a little bit about 9th grade on track rates, but basically that says at the end of the 9th grade year, are students on track to graduate? Typically our students that are attending alternative school are not necessarily on track, which means they have a lot of credits to make up. But because the work that IA is doing and IVA are doing to collectively to support those students, they're able to graduate within 4 or 5 years, which is just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And just in general, I mean, post-COVID, where everything was just online, being able to have that virtual option that's local for families to be able to do that, because some people are like, oh, what, you want me to go back to in-person school? No, they want to go online.
Yeah.
So having just that online option, even if they don't necessarily need an alternative placement for whatever reason, is nice to have.
Yeah.
And being local, there's the added benefit of they still get a co-op with our sports. They can come in and meet with our staff if they still need assistance.
Yeah.
We have local counseling services. We still have our local SPED services for those students. So being able to kind of almost like hybrid, they can still have that virtual experience, but be able to have all the things that the typical high school has for those kiddos.
Yeah, that's awesome. And there's so many reasons, right? And it's, so you'd to have flexibility in that program is so crucial, right? Because, you might have a need to do the online school, but also have a need to play football, right? Or basketball or something. And it's so enriching for that student, right? You can't be, don't
We're a small community and, they're going to be playing on sports together or doing other extracurriculars. So being able to kind of tie everyone together is nice.
Yeah, that's great. Amazing.
Also, one of the things that we've been working on over at Innovations Academy, they are starting a new CTE. So CTE stands for Career Technical Education Pathway. And I'll let Dr. Bernal kind of talk about our CTE pathways and what our new pathways are.
Yeah, so at the high school, at TDHS, we have a pretty robust CTE programming over there. We have currently six pathways. So we have culinary arts.
Yeah.
Construction, mechanics.
Yeah.
We have the welding. We have graphic design, and then I believe
Computer.
We have
Computer science.
computer
we
science,
have computer, and we have a sports medicine.
sports medicine, health.
CTE.
Yes. So really excited about that because we have a very robust CTE programming led by a lot of really amazing CTE teachers doing great things with kids, a lot of hands-on learning and things happening there. The culinary arts is my favorite because I get to go judge the contests where the cake contest
competition,
and
it's always it's
totally will. It's so fun
on us to be invited. So
send out the invite. I'm like, I'm in.
I would just like to say I didn't get invited to judge this year, and I'm still a little bitter about it.
All district email. You should have got it. Anyway, and then one was like a pasta contest, and like they make the pasta from scratch.
Oh,
And
wow.
they usually have a gluten-free competition too.
Okay.
So
And they come up with some pretty creative things.
That's so
recipes.
cool.
Yeah.
When we had a meeting at the high school last year for the intensive program, and the culinary arts students actually
Made the
catered
dinner.
it, and it was incredible. I mean,
I love it.
I cannot cook that way as an adult. I can't even imagine.
I love it. You should have like one of those fans like McDonald's has that shoots all the smells out to the screen, you know? You walk by that.
It smells good in there. It always smells good down the culinary arts
does.
hallway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and then we're super excited. We're working to add a CTE pathway at Innovations
Oh, cool.
in ag science.
Nice.
Yes.
That's exciting. There's lots of ag science out here.
I
Yeah,
know.
that's our hope.
That's our hope.
And it's such a growing technology too. There's so much growing technology in ag.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and drones and just like understanding how much water is actually in the ground versus just looking at it and being like, oh, maybe it needs 6 hours of watering today. You know, there's a lot of science that needs to happen there to really, you know, just protect our soil, right? And so that's really exciting.
Super excited.
And it's a lot of work to get a CTE program started, but we have an incredibly passionate teacher at Innovations Academy who is just working really, really hard to make sure that we can bring the work to our students. And, you know, she talks a lot about the work that she did growing up doing ag science and really wanting to have our innovation students have access to all that learning.
Really, all of our CTE, you can tell that they are doing that because it's a passion.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they are so amazing at what they do. And all the kids just benefit from that passion and being able to bring that and those different pathways to our kids.
That's what's so cool about CTE. You take somebody who's done been in Korea doing the thing, you know, and teaching is also an obviously incredible career also, you know, but it's multi-subject, right? And so it's just different foundation, right, from going to do teaching from the beginning, right? So that's so cool, so enriching.
Part of the recipe of success.
Yeah,
Have a passionate
definitely.
teacher.
Yeah, exactly. So as we're kind of coming to the last of the year, what should we be looking out for before?
Scholarships and
Yes.
graduations are just around the corner. So I know that scholarship night is coming up.
Great.
And I don't want to spill the beans too much, but I know we have over 50 kids kind of slated to get scholarships at the upcoming scholarship night, which is exciting.
That's exciting.
And then we just had a few students at the Dallas High School that were awarded some pretty prestigious scholarships. So if you want to read more about those, I don't know how much time we have, but we have highlighted all of those, 3 of them, that have gotten some really incredible scholarships. And I think there's some articles out in the CCCNews on those.
Oh, we wrote about them. That's so cool. Yeah, I should totally know that, of course. No, I do remember that. And there's a couple of people that have got really amazing, super prestigious ones, right?
Yeah. So we had 2 of our seniors receive the OSU Presidential Scholarship, and we're the only school in the Eastern Oregon side to have 2 selected.
That's awesome.
And they're both
which is
going into
amazing.
engineering at OSU.
Yep.
awesome.
And then we had another senior receive the OSU Catalyst Scholarship, which is a specific scholarship for engineering. And that student was one of 15 in the state of Oregon to receive that scholarship. So super exciting. We have our student representative on our school board, Raphael, and he's going to be headed off to Dartmouth.
That's exciting.
So, yeah, I mean, we've just got kids that are doing some amazing things and going places, and it's exciting.
That's
It's
great.
exciting to see.
Yeah, look out for that, folks, on scholarship night and graduation. It's always a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, at graduation, I always do a highlight reel of like all the senior class and like what was all the stats on them. And
Yeah.
it's fun to listen to
Yeah.
and read about just each senior class and how amazing they are. Because they're
Yeah.
all doing different things, right? And not all of them are going to college. Some of them are off to like trade schools, and some of them are off to the military, and some of them are,
Yeah.
you know, have other dreams and goals. And but it's cool.
Yeah, some people go and come back. Some people
Absolutely.
go to college and go somewhere else and then come back. And
Yeah.
we all have a different path. That's so cool. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming. Did we forget anything? Did we miss anything out?
I don't think so.
I think we got it all. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you coming and telling us about what's going on and celebrating the hard work that's going on in our schools. And
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Thank
Oh,
you.
and we have someone here to
We
say
do.
goodbye.
And cue the dog. Hi, sweetie.
Thanks so much. Like and subscribe at cccnews.com.
Sweetheart.